Hi, it's Jay Green with GW Private Capital in Whittier. Happy New Year. Hope you had a wonderful New Year. I think we're going to have a great 2022. I wanted to talk to you about ADUs and explain a little bit what an ADU is. What is an ADU? ADU is an acronym for Accessory Dwelling Unit. In 2019, the state of California created these ADU laws that incentivized the creation of more housing units. The reason why is because we just have a real big shortage of rental and housing units in the state of California. So in 2019, the state created these ADU laws in hopes of promoting the development and building and conversion of existing units to provide more housing units in the state of California. So accessory dwelling units, also known as granny flats, in-law quarters, additional units, backyard cottages, and secondary units. These are also what you might refer to as an ADU. Before 2019, people were converting their garages and creating these kind of illegal and non-conforming structures to provide a rentable or just living area on their properties. So in 2019, the state created these laws to promote the development of ADUs and allowing the conversion of garages, sheds, other structures, legal building of ADUs. Why is this exciting? Well, ADUs can provide some great advantages to property owners. You can rent out the units, you can put extended family members, aging parents, family members that are coming back to live on your property. It gives some separation, it gives privacy, it allows you to build these units a little more easy. So there are a lot of benefits to building an ADU. In 2021, January 1st, 2021, they changed the ADU laws, laxing them, making them even more relaxed, easier to build an ADU. Some of the changes in those laws is that you did not have to, the property did not have to be a primary residence or be occupied by the owner. That was a big hurdle before 2021. So it can be a property you're renting out and you can still build an ADU or build a junior ADU. And I'll get into what a junior ADU is in a minute. In January 1st, 2021, these new laws, they were much more lax, which is a big positive. Before 2021, you had to adhere to much more rigid building codes and laws, making it almost impossible to build ADUs. Not impossible, but much more difficult. For example, if you're converting a garage into living area, a lot of times the city or county or building department or the planning department will require that you build another garage in place. So for people that had minimum size lots and they already had an existing single family house or a duplex, it was hard to convert a garage into an ADU and then also have to build another garage. It was almost impossible based on just the lot coverage and how much available land was still remaining. So in January 1st, 2021, they made it much easier. So you could convert a garage and the city or county, wherever the property is located, necessarily wouldn't require that you build another garage. Sometimes they do have some parking requirements for some uncovered parking or carports, but they're much more easy. So it's right now, it's much easier to build an ADU. Almost, I'm gonna say most properties in California will qualify, not 100%, but most of them will. There's no minimum lot size requirement any longer. You don't have to live in the property. It could be a rental property. It can be not only just a single family, but it can be a duplex, multifamily, and you can still build ADUs on those properties. Now there are some laws. You're gonna have to adhere to building requirements and get this approved, but every county and city is supposed to give you an answer within 60 days if you submit your plans to build an ADU. Why is this so exciting? Because now if you have a rental property, you can convert your garage to an ADU, you can build a freestanding ADU like building a new pad, building a pad, building another structure. You can build a junior ADU. A junior ADU is using the existing property. Let's say it's a house and let's say it's 1,500 square feet. You can carve out a part of that 1,500 square feet, and that can be its own unit. An ADU can actually get its own address, so it's almost like a duplex or 2 units on a lot. It's not a duplex, but it can be very similar because it will get its own address, an ADU. So a junior ADU is a unit within the existing primary dwelling. Now the cool thing is you can still do an ADU in addition to the junior ADU. So in essence, have 3 potential units. 3 rentable, you can live in one, you can rent the other 2. It gives you a lot of flexibility. If you're gonna be considering building an ADU or a junior ADU, I would recommend talking to an architect or a draftsman. I can give you some references for that if you need to talk to anybody. Sometimes some cities, like the city of LA, will have pre-approved plans. You can actually go to the LA Department of Housing and the building department. You can find pre-approved ADU plans. You can buy some on the internet, pre-approved. You're going to be anywhere from about $3,000 to $5,000 to have your plans, which is the drawings which contractors work off, and you submit those to the city or county and they approve those plans. And that should also include your engineering. It depends on how big your ADU is. What's the smallest ADU you can build on a property? It's typically about 150 square feet, and you can go up to about 1,200 square feet size ADU. That's a pretty big structure. That's bigger than some houses in California. So I just wanted to share with you some of the new changes. There's 2 new laws that are going to come into effect this year of 2022, which is SB 9 and SB 10. Those are encouraging and promoting the development and building of additional housing units in the state of California. SB 9 says that you can take a single family property and split it in half. So you actually get 2 APN numbers, 2 lots. And on those 2 lots, you can build up to 4 units on each lot, so potentially 8 units. Some of the requirements are that you do live in the property. That property, before you split it, has to be your primary residence, and you have to live there for 3 years. It's not necessarily a benefit to a developer or an investor, but if you live in the property, so I would, again, talk to a architect or draftsman. You can also go into your building department in your city or county, and they'll tell you, give them the address or your APA number, and they'll tell you, they'll know a little bit about your property in the building department. Talk to a planner, and they'll tell you potentially what you can do. Don't be discouraged when you go into a city or county and they are not necessarily 100% supportive. They're supposed to be supportive of these ADU developments, and state laws are supposed to supersede and supposed to really promote the development of ADUs. Another law that's coming into effect this year of January 2022 is SB 10, and that allows for the development of multifamily on a residentially zoned lot. So if you have a house or a duplex and a triplex, and your lot is zoned like R1, R2, it's zoned for single family or a duplex, the SB 10 allows for what's called upzoning, meaning that the law can allow you to build additional units on your lot, and there are laws you have to adhere to. So a good architect, draftsman can help you in determining what you can do on your property. These new ADU laws are very, very exciting. I'm building a couple on some of my own properties as rental units. So I'm doing one right now in Whittier. I'm building a 760 square foot ADU. It's going to be, I'm building it in the rear yard. I'm going to build its own pad. It's going to have its own address. It'll be 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, nice size kitchen, a brand new unit. And it's going to cost me about 130,000. That's about $171 a square foot. I may be able to do it cheaper, as cheap as about $100,000, but I'm getting bids right now, and I'm having my plans drawn. Materials have gone up everywhere for lumber, and all kinds of building materials have increased. So I'm taking that into consideration. But the great thing is that I can build this unit and rent it out for a great income. I'm hoping it should rent for, this is a 760 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit, as about $1,800 to as high as $2,200 just for that unit. So if you are a property owner, a realtor, an investor, and you own property, you should be definitely considering the possibility of building an ADU on your property, whether you live there or it's one of your rental properties. I think right now is a very exciting time to consider buying properties or developing ADUs on your properties to create additional income, and also so you increase the value of your property. How much does building an ADU increase the value of your property? I'm still trying to figure this out. I've talked to appraisers and realtors, and I've tried to do my own research, and it's a little difficult because we don't have a lot of comparable sales on the MLS for us to actually just look to. There's a few. So how much does an ADU increase your property's value? And I would say at minimum, what you spend on building that unit. So if you spend $130,000 or $150,000 building that unit, I would say it's at least going to be worth that amount. But I've talked to other people, and you can use like a gross rent multiplier or a cap rate. Those are a way of determining values, like on rental properties, and also using like price per square foot. I wouldn't say it's exactly, an exact measurement or matrix by using price per square foot, but I would say at least what you're spending on building it's going to be worth more than that. The gross income minus your operating expenses is your NOI, your net operating income. That number, you divide it by using a cap rate, and depending on what city you're in, you can get a cap rate idea. You can Google, what's my cap rate in Whittier, and put in a zip code. Let's say it's 5.5%, and you take the NOI, annualized NOI, you divide it by the cap rate, and that'll give you approximately the value of that structure. You do that with apartment buildings, strip centers, shopping centers. That's just one way of determining a projected value of a property, or an existing value is using the NOI and a cap rate. And you can also use a gross rent multiplier. Definitely, you should be looking into building an ADU or a junior ADU. It's easier than sometimes even adding on to your property. I have a friend of mine right now that's taking his house in Orange, and he's adding 1,100 square feet. He's building 2 additional bedrooms and a bonus room. And the city of Orange is making it really difficult on him to just add on to his property. But he could build like 2 ADUs in the back, and it would be easier to do that than actually just expanding his existing house to accommodate his grown children and his mother-in-law. They're asking him right now to build an additional garage space. It can be a challenge to do development and build things in California. And so these ADU laws are much more lax and easy. So don't be discouraged if you're considering it and you're thinking it's going to be too much work. Don't be discouraged. The laws are on your side to build these ADUs. Should you buy an existing prefabricated unit and bring that onto your property? That's an option. You can buy these prefabricated ADUs. They sell them for anywhere from about $40,000 up to a couple $100,000, depending on where they're made, what size they are. And literally you build a pad, you pour a concrete pad, and you bring utilities to the pad, electrical, gas, water, and sewage. And then they come in with these prefabricated units, and they literally just set them on the pad and set them up. And it can take anywhere as little as 1 day to a couple days just to bring in a prefabricated unit. There's some advantages. There could be some price advantages rather than doing stick build ground up development. I'm going to build mine because it's going to be, I think for the size unit I'm going to do, it's going to be tailored to the layout of my existing property and the way I want it. So I'm actually customizing my unit. But I have researched some of the ADUs that cost just as much, if not more, than the unit I'm going to build in Whittier. So you can go online and look for prefabricated ADUs. There's places all over California and the country, and you can go online and get pricing and different layouts. And some of those companies can actually help you get your plans approved with the city and help you in that process. So again, right now is a real exciting time to build an ADU or bring in a prefabricated ADU, convert a garage, do a junior ADU, build a couple ADUs. How many ADUs can you put on one lot? It depends. It depends on how many units you have there right now. It depends on the size of your lot. It depends on the city or county you're located in. A lot of it has to do with the size of the lot. Oh, one of the other pluses with the new ADU laws is the setback requirements. A setback is the distance or the separation between your property line, usually like where your fence is, or the street or the sidewalk, and then to the structure. So between your existing house, let's say your house is here, it's 1,500 square feet, and then you have like this 5,000 square foot lot. The house is here. So from the side of the house to the side and the property line, that distance there's usually a minimum requirement space you have to have. And legally before it was a 5-foot setback. Well, now they've loosened that up where there's a requirement for a 4-foot setback. And sometimes there can be even legal latitude in cities and counties allowing you for flexibility in that. So it allows you to put more structures on a specific size lot and not having to be constrained by the former setback laws. The same is in the rear. They've changed the setback laws in the rear, setback laws in the front, setback laws between if you have your existing house or duplex and you're building an ADU. There are also setbacks between the structures, the new ADU and the house, and they've loosened up those guidelines. So having those setback requirements also are in your favor of building an ADU. Another thing is I kind of touched upon earlier is parking. In 2019 to 2021, the parking requirements were pretty rigorous. And if you were converting a garage into an ADU, a lot of times the city or county, wherever your property is located, would require that you would have to build another like 2-car or 3-car covered garage, another garage, and that's very expensive and very almost impossible because of the size of your lot and the setbacks. So now, depending on where your property is located, if you're within like a half a mile of public transportation, which a lot of properties are, that can also be fine, and you'll meet the parking and traveling and transportation requirements in your development. So that's a big plus. The cities, counties aren't necessarily requiring that you build covered parking. Sometimes it could be an open space on site. They allow for off-site parking. Sometimes you'll just have to do like a carport, but it's much more lax and also cheaper to go these directions. So if you have any questions about ADUs, I'm still educating myself on all the new laws and what I can do as I'm building ADUs myself. So if you need any references to contractors, architects, civil engineers, draftsmen, people that can give you bids and give you an idea of what it's going to cost you. I also lend money to build ADUs. So if you want to borrow private money, I can provide that to you as well. There are some grants that homeowners can get. You can Google that, California grants for ADU and property owners. where you can get affordable grants and loans, city and also through the state of California. So there are options for financing these ADUs if you don't have the cash to build your ADU. You can refinance your property, take out a line of credit, you can use private money. There are additional, I'm not sure the ADU companies, like some of the pre-manufactured, I don't know what kind of financing they offer, but you can certainly inquire with them as well. Again, I want to wish you a happy new year. If you want to know more about private money financing for ADUs, or if you need some references to contractors or architects or draftsmen, feel free to give me a ring, 714-747-1912. I'm located here in Whittier, California. I love helping as much as I can with financing or just giving resources so you investors, property owners, realtors can go farther, make more money, and accomplish more in 2022. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so I can continue to make great, informative, helpful videos just like this.